guys? Otterpop here. Okay, so this is going to be a different kind of video that I'm going to be doing, I guess. I had a friend who introduced me to this site, apparently, crimescene.com, and there's a whole bunch of stuff you can get, like various crime scene equipment and whatnot, kind of like fingerprint powder. I already have fingerprint powder, though. Apparently there are like sort of these fictional investigations that you can check out and like try and figure out what happened, and I thought, oh, that could be pretty interesting because I really like doing crime scene stuff like that. I had to do it a lot for you know, like classes in college and whatnot, but yeah. So what happened is I'm totally gonna butcher this. Yoknapatawpha County Sheriff's Department is investigating the death of a German man, Rolf Warner, who was found dead on the grounds of Roanoke, William Faulkner's home on February 15, 2019. Oh, okay, Roanoke is like a name of a property. Gotcha. That confused me. Groundskeepers discovered the body around 10 a.m. and called 911. Case documents are presented in reverse chronological order in the case files section. 4 types of case documents include evidence, interviews, biographies, and press. Oh god. Press. Click the relevant tag at the top of the case files page to filter by document type. If this is your first look at the investigation, which it is, you may want to start with one of these case documents. Let's go with the detective's report. Seems like the most logical way to go. See, incident. Ooh, there's even a case number. That's cool. Date reported, time reported, 10:28 a.m. Offense to be determined. Ooh. Location of offense. Okay, yeah, Roanoke is the name of a property. Old Taylor Road, Oxford, Mississippi. Wait. Oh, jeez. Okay, I got unbelievably confused. That was so dumb of me. It said death of a German man, so I assumed it would be in Germany. It said freaking Mississippi. Jeez. Okay, that really confused me. Jesus. Okay, so the reporting officer was Detective Sam Murphy, and the assisting officer was Detective Ted Armstrong. Okay, here we go. Here, let's make that a little bigger, shall we? Nice thing about a touchscreen. At 10:06 a.m., dispatch received a 911 call regarding the discovery of a body at Roanoke. The caller identified herself as Sherry Chapman, office manager at the University of Mississippi Physical Plant. Caller reported that physical plant staff members had found a body on the grounds of Roanoke and requested that she notify authorities. Unit number 224, Officer Steve Harding, was immediately dispatched to the scene. Detectives Armstrong and Murphy were assigned and proceeded directly to the scene. Coroner's Inspector Lucinda Johnson was notified at RI's request to respond to scene. Reporting officer Steve Harding arrived at the scene at 10:13 a.m. at RO's request. Ouch. Unit 216 Officer Kenan Winters was dispatched to the scene to provide backup and assistance and arrived at 10:20 a.m. Reporting investigators arrived at the scene at 10:28 a.m. and found Harding and Winters had secured the area. Environmental conditions at scene upon arrival are as follows. Weather, clear and dry, ambient temperature, 52 degrees Fahrenheit or 11 degrees Celsius. Relative humidity, 88 degrees. Ugh! Oh! 88 humidity? Jeez. We barely have 10% humidity here. I can't imagine 88%. And I live in Minnesota. That's nice to see something like that, anyways. Well, I suppose if it's for, you know, crimescene.com, I imagine they would be presenting or creating real enough, like, you know, fictional, but, you know, decent reports. Like, stuff like this is extremely important, especially, you know, depending on how long the body has been out, if there's any insect activity. Like, even if there's not a lot of insect activity, this kind of data can be used. It's just very useful. Entomology, man, it's very fascinating. I really like it. Harding made the following verbal report, which is stated in summary and not verbatim. Harding said he was met at the scene by an adult male who identified himself as Ben Moreland. The witness, Moreland, escorted Harding to the location of the body, where Harding observed a second adult male witness who identified himself as Steve Potter. Harding confirmed the presence of the body and reported same to dispatch. Harding and Winters then secured the scene and detained witnesses at the scene, including Moreland, Potter, and an adult female who arrived at the scene shortly after and identified herself as Pillar Adams. Okay, never heard that name. Harding further stated that, to the best of his knowledge, the following personnel have had occasion to enter the crime... Following personnel have had occasion to enter the crime scene area and must be documented by CSU personnel. Ow, okay, I need to stop. Witness witnesses Ben Moreland and Potter. Oh my god, why am I yawning? Okay, I need my water. Harding said witnesses Pillar Adams was not permitted to enter the crime scene area. I should hope not. After receiving the report from Harding, Murphy contacted dispatch regarding the status of the coroner's inspector and the crime scene unit. Dispatch indicated that the inspector's ETA was approximately 10 minutes and CSU's ETA was approximately 12 minutes. Responding officer... Alright. Responding investigator is probably what that means. I've already forgotten. A reporting investigator. I was right. Yeah. Alright. Reporting investigators proceeded to the location of the body, observed a lifeless human body, apparently a male in his late 30s, lying on the ground partially supported by a tree, approximately 50 feet southwest from the Roanoke Museum building. Visual inspection indicated the victim was wearing a black medium to heavyweight coat, a white cotton t-shirt, black denim jeans, and black shoes. The body lay face up with the left arm alongside the body. The right arm was extended to the side at an approximately 45-degree angle to the body. The head of the body faced in a northeasterly direction, and the feet in a southwesterly direction. A passport recovered from the pocket of the victim's coat tentatively identified him as Rolf Warner, a German citizen. The body displayed signs of trauma to the head. No other injuries were immediately apparent. Pending official analysis by the coroner's office, initial observation indicated the deceased was apparently the victim of a single penetrating blow to the head. Oof. Must have been quite a powerful weapon and quite the force in order to do that. Let's check out the picture. Oh, he had glasses. Interesting. It's not the best quality image, but I wonder, can I... Whoa. That did not really help much. Yeah, that must have been quite the weapon or quite the force. Or even both, I mean. Responding investigators also observed a digital camera and a pickaxe with a reddish-brown stain to the immediate vicinity of the body. Oh, the pickaxe! That could have possibly done the damage, yeah. I mean, don't immediately assume everything. Like, just look at the possibilities. Like, obviously the fact that, you know, there was a pickaxe with reddish-brown stains, which is most likely blood, not definitively, but most likely, means that if it is blood, it's most likely the murder weapon. It looked like it could have done that damage that I saw in that picture. I mean, the picture wasn't of great quality, but still. Again, that's the most likely scenario. So keep it in mind, but don't necessarily immediately go to that. Like, that's something that investigators should do, really. I mean, this is also based on what I remember hearing from my professors when I was in college, is that don't immediately jump to conclusions. Consider all possibilities and eliminate like scenarios that either can't happen or, well, I wouldn't say unlikely, but just keep eliminating scenarios that don't add up with the evidence, and eventually you're left with one or a few scenarios that do add up with the evidence that are possible. So don't jump to conclusions. And all I'm saying right now is that the pickaxe is most likely, not definitively, the murder weapon, and it could most likely have done that damage that I saw in that image. If only it was better quality, but still. RI's responding investigators also noted possible blood stains on the ground within a 10-foot radius of the body. Okay. Investigators interviewed the witness Ben Moreland at the scene. Additional interviews with other witnesses are being scheduled. Before leaving, Investigator Murphy instructed CSU to seal the scene upon completion or end-of-day suspension of processing. CSU was to notify investigators of progress by the end of this date. As of this filing, CSU is still actively processing at the scene. Okay, so this report must have been filed fairly soon. Probably the same day as the body was found. Body of the deceased remanded into the custody of Coroner's Inspector Luinda Johnson. Deceased was removed from the scene at 11:21 a.m. and transported to the coroner's office for autopsy. A preliminary autopsy report is expected within 14 days of this report. So, most likely this report was filed definitively sometime in the afternoon, I want to say. After 11:21 a.m. for sure. Evidence remanded into the custody of Forensics Officer T.R. Douglas for transport to the State Crime Lab for routine analysis. CSU is expected to submit an inventory of items taken into evidence within 14 days of this report, with detailed reports of their findings to follow at a later date. Okay, obviously there's no defendant, so we have reporting officer, assisting officer, unit numbers, dates. Okay. Interesting. So, how do I... most likely I have to go back. Alright, biography of the victim. Alright, so this is definitive information. Rolf Warner was born in Alphen, Germany on July 11th, 1982. Before coming to the United States, Warner lived in Duisburg in western Germany. In November 2018, Warner entered the U.S. in Atlanta, Georgia, and had been issued a temporary work permit, which indicates he expected to stay in the country for an extended period working for a video game development company in Atlanta. Ooh, that's neat. A check of local hotels indicates that Warner checked into the Rebel Inn Motel on Wednesday, February 13, 2019, with two companions, Gus Heller and Lita Harrison. The trio had not checked out at the time of Warner's death. At the time of Warner's death, is that like they already kind of figured out when he died? I mean, granted, I only saw a brief thing of the body, a brief iffy image, not great quality image of the body. There didn't seem to be any insect activity, so it had to happen at least the same day that the body was found. So, at some point before probably 10, most likely. But it had to have happened the same day, so... I guess I haven't seen the autopsy report yet. I don't know if the autopsy report is available. The reason Warner and his friends were visiting Oxford is not known. Wait, Oxford? Wait, this is the first time I've even seen Oxford even being mentioned. I'm a little confused. Where did that come from? Among the items found on the body were a Rebel Inn room key, a German-issued passport, various credit cards, and a loaded handgun. A loaded handgun? Interesting. Okay, so various credit cards were taken. Here's the interesting thing, too, is that some people carry cash, but other people don't. And the only reason I know that, I like to carry cash on me, a little bit of cash at least at all times, the best of my ability. My sister doesn't. So, I mean, various credit cards, and credit cards can be charged without you having to enter a PIN, unlike debit cards, so it's possible this may not have been a robbery. I mean, the only two possibilities I'm thinking of right now was it was personal or it was random. Yeah, the loaded handgun is kind of throwing me off a little bit. Then again, I don't know the gun laws in Atlanta, Georgia, so there is kind of that too. But it is interesting. But I mean, it does say loaded, but it doesn't necessarily say that the barrel was full, or It didn't say that it was full. Oh gosh. Okay, so here's an interview with one of them. This was the guy who discovered the body. State your name and address. You're an employee at Roanoke. Paycheck comes from the university, but I usually work over here at Roanoke. That's right, because Roanoke is like a property on... It's on university grounds, or it's a part of the university. I don't remember exactly. How long have you had this job? Almost 3 years. What do you do here? Groundskeeper. So that kind of explains why he was the first to find the body. Cut the grass, weed the beds, pruning plants, repairing, things like that. You told the first officer you didn't recognize the victim. I'd never seen him before. If I had, I expect I'd remember. I mean, okay. Then again, I personally, myself, I'm very bad at remembering. Although, if I see a face, and usually look at it for a little bit, but then I see the face again, like much later, I may be like, you look familiar? Then again, I do mix up some people with other people, so, but some people's memories are better, actually most people's memories are better than mine. If I had, I expect, oh, okay, I didn't even notice this. If I had, I expect I'd remember. Why is that? Big, heavy-set fella in a heavy coat, pretty hard to miss. Well, yeah, unless the guy wasn't always wearing something like that. How you came to discover the body? I come after the pickaxe, the one right there. You're pointing to the small wood-handled pickaxe which appears to have a reddish-brown substance on it. Is that correct? Yes. Anyways, I needed it to do some work I was fixing to do. What work was that? I had to dig up a big old boulder down yonder, and I knew I needed the pickaxe to get her out. Oh my gosh, this is definitely in Georgia. And you go to the shed for it. Isn't that where one would expect to find tools? Well, that's what I was wondering myself. Like, well, that's where it came from this morning. That's where it come from this morning. Okay. Look, I went to the shed early when I got here and got the pickaxe. I went to the shed early when I got here and got the pickaxe. I was taking it down to the boulder that I wanted to get up, but got a call from base to come to the office. Carry cell phones? Well, I got my personal phone, but I got the call from base on the radio. We all carry them while we're working. Walkie-talkies, you know. Yes, go ahead. I didn't feel like taking the pickaxe back to the shed and then going back to get it when I was done, so well, I know I shouldn't have left it there, but who'd think I'd find what? Oh! Interesting. Was anyone else around when you left the pickaxe? Did you see anyone? No, it was early, around 7:38, something like that. Who would be around for Christ's sake? Anyway, when I come back for it, there was, and there he was. Must have been around 9:30, maybe closer to 10. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so I think I've kind of got what he says now. I mean, his lingo is slightly throwing me off. I had to read it a couple times to, make a little more sense of it. But so he was doing work, and he got a pickaxe from the shed, and he was going to use it for something. But he got a call around 7:30 or 8 from base. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't say why he went to the office, because the detective did interrupt him. Which probably shouldn't have interrupted. I mean, at least let him finish out his story. But, okay. Not really sure why it's such a big deal that, you carry cell phones. Like, most people on the job generally do. Not sure why that question was asked and why the detective felt necessary to interrupt with that question, since it's pretty commonplace at this point for people, even on the job, to carry their cell phones with them. Most people just do it these days. So yeah, it sounds like the guy, got a pickaxe to move a boulder or something, had to leave, he was called back to base or something, wherever that is, around 7:30 or 8, and then he came back at the very least about an hour and a half later. So it's between 8 and 9:30 at the very minimum is likely when this guy was killed. So yeah, I mean, I had a reasonable theory that, that there was like no insect activity that I noticed in the subpar graphic photo. So it had to have happened the same day. I wanted to say that it would have happened within like a couple hours before the body was found, or before it was reported at least, but I don't want to go that far. Okay. You didn't come back for 2 hours or more? You were in the office for that long? Yes and no. What? I went up to the office. Turns out they wanted some paperwork done about employee insurance. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, he left the pickaxe there? Like, seriously? Today is the last day to put in paperwork for employee insurance. Takes a little while. And when I was heading out to get back to work, Pillar asked him to come over and give her a hand with a jam door in one of the outbuildings. Went over there. So after all that was said and done, it was about 2 hours before he came back. Why were you moving the boulder in the first place? We need to move it because we're going to land some new pipe and it's in the way. You know what I mean? Okay, what did you do when you saw the body? Did you touch the body in any way? It's a valid question. I mean, did you move the body or anything? Oh no, I just started shouting my head off about the bloody man lying under the tree. Jeez. Didn't even really know why I was doing it till Steve came running over asking me what I was hollering about. He saw for himself soon enough. I think he called base after that, told him what was going on, and they must have called y'all. Y'all. Again, this is definitely in Atlanta. I'm sure you didn't touch anything. Well, I didn't touch the pickaxe. I mean, when I brought it down first thing this morning. But not after I seen that dead guy or nothing like that. I mean, you could see the blood on his head and chest and all from a pretty good distance. Not like I thought he might still have a pulse or something, you know. I personally would still check. Okay, we got the picture. Who else was on duty during this time period, say from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.? There's a group of us working over here most days. Me and Joe Swift, Pillar Adam. She was working over yonder by the tenant house, and Steve Potter, I think he was working with Pillar. Linus might have been here, but I didn't see him. Who's that? Linus Broadwell? He's the curator. Oh, I thought everybody knew that. No! Like, these are detectives with a friggin' police department. They don't know everybody. And Atlanta's pretty big, from what I understand. It's got a lot of people. Like maybe they would have randomly heard of him, but like the curator guy, but seriously? Okay. Do you know how we can get in touch with Mr. Broadwell? Phone number! Probably won't have to call him. Well, really, why not? As soon as he hears about this, he'll be tracking you down. You can count on it. Yep, oh, Linus will give you an earful, that's for sure. Why? And see, I see, and what about the person who wanted to see you in the office? Who was that? You mean Shelley? She's a bookkeeper, office person, yeah. And what's her last name? It's Chapman, I think. Shelley Chapman. I don't know, we don't talk much. I get my check in my slot at the end of the week. We don't have much cause to see her, you know. Shelley in the office now? I expect so. They keep track of everybody over there. We'll be sure to do that. Anything else? No, sir, I don't think so. Usually I do my work and never come in contact with anything except an obstinate rock or tree branch. This? No, this sure as hell ain't usual. Yeah, I don't think so. Closing dialogue and stuff. Huh. Canvas of the groundskeeping staff. Officers Harding and Winters interviewed. The witnesses at the scene included the groundskeepers. Stop yawning! Also spoke with the university's physical plant office manager who placed the call. Witnesses were questioned regarding any information they might have about the homicide or the circumstances leading to the homicide. The Roanoke building is also known as the servants' quarters. The Roanoke building, known as the servants' quarters, is also sometimes called the Tin House or Mamie Callie Barr's house. Pillar Adams, so this was a groundskeeper that the other guy was talking about in his interview. Said she arrived for work at approximately just before 7, clocked in, went directly to the building. Approximately 9:30, she requested assistance from Ben Moreland and Steve Potter in loosening a door which had swung shut and was jammed. The door apparently had water damage from a leaking pipe in the wall. 3 worked on the door until approximately 9:50. Okay. She stated that shortly afterwards she heard sirens and rushed out of the building. She saw Potter Moreland and 2 sheriff's officers standing near the victim. She said that her coworkers looked distressed. One of the sheriff's officers prevented her from approaching the body or entering the immediate vicinity. Why would she add that? Like, it's common knowledge. Like, they want to limit contamination as much as possible. Of course they would prevent her from approaching the body. Like, seriously? When asked if she had witnessed anything unusual, she said she saw nothing. She did not see anyone other than her co-workers on the ground. She didn't recognize the victim. I'm sure she would have remembered him if she had ever met him or seen him before. Moreland said something similar. When asked if she saw Joe Swift that morning, Adams replied that she saw him, and when they both clocked in that morning, she recalled seeing him sometime after she arrived at the crime scene, but didn't know exactly when that was. Okay. Curator arrived at work at approximately 8:45, heard sirens approaching Roanoke approximately 1 hour later, looked through an upstairs window and saw sheriff's officers talking with two groundskeepers near a man lying on the ground. So he could see them. He just went upstairs. He went upstairs and looked through a window, and he could see the body and the two individuals. The curator said he didn't recognize the victim, saying he was certain they'd never met. When asked if he'd seen anything or anyone unusual, he wouldn't have the slightest idea if anyone was out and about, up to devil's work or not. When asked his opinion of the groundskeepers, curator was like, good, reliable, hardworking, whatever they say I'm sure is the truth. Broadwell was concerned about the negative press that Roanoke might get and asked if he could contact the newspaper and explain things to them himself. He was informed that the sheriff's department did not control the newspapers and he was free to contact anyone he liked. Okay, so the first groundskeeper guy, what is his name? Moreland or something like that? Yeah, Ben Moreland said that he left around 8:30 or 9 to help with a door, or he was called to the office or something like that. So this is interesting. So I'm wondering where the entrance is to this building. If it's on the other side, he might not have seen the body if it was already there, but that would mean that there's only like a 15-minute window between when Moreland left and then when Broadwell got to work. Or I suppose it might make a little more sense if it was between like 8:45 and, what was it, like 9:30ish when Moreland got back. So it's a 45-minute window. If that's the case, and Broadwell didn't know anything and he didn't hear anything, then the victim would have been surprised. He wouldn't have expected the attacker, but nobody seems to have ever seen this guy based on their statements, which means that, which kind of begs the question, what was, like, if these guys are all telling the truth and they don't know who he is and all of their stories are completely legit and completely truthful, I'm wondering what this computer game developer guy was doing around this area. She was not present on the Roanoke grounds when the body was found, but I was at the main physical plant office on University campus, which the employees refer to as base. Okay, that makes a little more sense, because Ben Moreland mentioned base earlier. Following employees were assigned to groundskeeping work, so it was Adams, Moreland, Potter, and Swift. Chapman said she contacted Ben Moreland via radio at approximately 8 and asked him to come to the office to contemplate paperwork for employee insurance. Potter said he clocked in at approximately 7, began work at 7:15, scheduled to apply glazing compound to windows and upper floor bedrooms in the house and assist Adams in the servants' quarters. After working on the windows for a few hours, he went over to the servants' quarters to see how Adams was doing. He arrived, he noticed there was a problem with the door and assisted Adams without unjamming it. He needed more assistance and he called Moreland. Problem with the door was handled by approximately 9:50. Okay, so that checks in with what, I think what Adams said too. While he was in the house, he heard Moreland screaming his head off approximately 5 minutes after his departure. Potter left the building, went in another direction, arrived at the site, saw the body, and Moreland, very distressed. Adams said he cautioned Moreland not to touch anything and radioed to base that there was an emergency and contact 911. So, I mean, they just already assumed that he was dead. I mean, I personally would have, like touch the person's neck just to make sure, because you never know. Neither he nor Moreland touched the body or anything else in the immediate vicinity. When asked if he noticed anything or anyone unusual around the area, Potter replied he only saw his co-workers. He said he did not recognize the victim and was certain he'd never met nor seen him before. When asked if he had seen his co-worker Swift around or near the victim, Potter said he believed Swift had arrived at the site after he, Moreland, Adams, and sheriff's personnel had been there several minutes. When asked if he could explain why Swift arrived later than the others, Potter replied that Swift was working a good deal further from the scene than the three of them had been and may not have heard the commotion at first. According to Potter, Swift did not touch the body or anything in the immediate area. Okay. What about Swift? Porter, for work at approximately 7, proceeded to the area known as Faulkner Rose Garden to begin work. Sometime between 7:45 and 8, he observed co-worker Adams drive a university pickup truck heading north towards the outbuilding. There was a servant's quarters and parked the truck at the end near the drive. Approximately the same time, Swift observed Moreland coming from the direction of Toolshed carrying a pickaxe in his hands. Moreland paused not far from Swift, appearing to answer a call on the walkie-talkie. Moreland stuck the pickaxe in the ground and headed north in the direction of the main office. At this point, Swift moved to the area known as the original garden, continued work until approximately 10:15, where he heard sirens nearby and went to see what was happening. When Swift arrived at the site, he observed 2 sheriff's officers and 3 co-workers, Adams, Potter, and Moreland, standing in the vicinity of the body. Swift said his co-workers all appeared to be upset, saying he was not admitted past the crime scene tape into the immediate area of the body. When asked if he saw anyone or anything unusual on the Roanoke grounds that morning, Swift said he had noticed no other than his co-workers. He really wasn't paying much attention. Okay. So, yeah, but the one thing that keeps getting to me is this latest info. No. Oh, jeez. There's a lot of information here, though. In Oxford, only a short time. Local hotel. Jones declined to say whether the victim was traveling a letter with associates. I mean, now we know he was traveling with associates. Jones did confirm that the death was being investigated as a homicide, but gave no details about how the man was killed. The identity of the victim is being withheld pending notification of his next of kin. Roanoke was residence of William Faulkner from 1930 until his death in 1962. University of Mississippi has owned and operated the home and surrounding property since purchasing it. Okay, gotcha. According to the Roanoke curator, Linus Broadwell, the museum at Roanoke will remain closed until the Sheriff's Department completes their on-site investigation. Public announcement will be made when the reopening is scheduled. Okay. The one thing that keeps coming back to me is that, assuming all the witness statements are true, not like I don't believe them, but you have to consider all possibilities in investigations like these, but assuming that all the witnesses are, everything that what they say is true, it makes you, because there wasn't a whole lot of information that was already given to me about this guy. What would he be doing on this university property if he's like a game developer? I'm not sure. Okay, so the Rebel Inn was the motel where he was staying at. Staying at the Rebel Inn along with 2 traveling companions, Gus Heller. He's over there. Austin said he worked the night shift at the front desk. He said he saw the subjects returning to the motel on the nights since they checked in. He said the 3 of them typically returned together, often before 11 p.m. He added that on the nights of Wednesday, February 13th and Thursday the 14th, he saw Harrison go back out alone a little while later. He saw Harrison return on those 2 nights between 1 and 2 a.m. and she appeared to be alone. Maybe like a smoke break or something? You never know. Lively said she cleaned the subject's rooms on Thursday, February 14th. She said she first arrived to clean the room occupied by Warner and Heller at approximately 10 a.m. She said she heard loud voices inside but thought it was the television. If I recall correctly, the body was found on the 19th, right? I think so, yeah, that sounds right. Knocked and announced herself, and when she received no response, she let herself into the room using the master key. When she opened the door, she observed Warner and Heller in a heated argument. They asked her to return later, and she left the room. Lively said she did not hear what the subjects were arguing about and believed they may have been talking in a foreign language, meaning the word German. So, I mean, at least Warner for sure. And honestly, Heller and Harrison do kind of sound like they could have. It does sound like there's German derivation there. So I assume that all three of them are German. Or at least that's most likely, anyways. Just no, don't assume. Lively said she then proceeded next door to the room occupied by Harrison, but found a do not disturb tag on the door and continued. Said she returned to the room occupied by Warren and Heller at approximately 11:15 and found the room empty. After she cleaned it, she checked Harrison's room next door to find out whether the do not disturb tag was still in place. It was, and she did knock on the door. Lively said that to her knowledge, Harrison's room was not cleaned on February 14, 2019. Interesting. Said she cleaned the subject's rooms on Friday, February 15th at approximately 11 a.m. Heller was alone in the room he shared with Warner when she arrived. Heller was working on a laptop computer but allowed her to clean the room while he was working. Heller appeared upset or agitated but was polite and spoke with her. When she went next door, occupied it was empty when she arrived, and Harrison did not return while she was cleaning. Okay, so where's Harrison going? She's the woman, right? Because, yeah, Heller and Warner are the men, and Harrison is the woman, but she hasn't really been seen much. She works the day shift at the front desk. She saw Warner and Heller leave the motel sometime between 8:30 and 9 on February 15th, Friday. Asked how the subjects were getting along. Wes said they seemed normal. She said they did not appear to be either noticeably angry or noticeably friendly with each other. I mean, if they work in the business together, and maybe they're like on a business like trip or something, the three of them, it might make sense. Not all business buddies are buddy-buddy with each other, I guess. She observed Harrison leaving that morning around 9 a.m. after Warner and Heller left. Harrison was picked up by a man driving a silver, gray Japanese male make pickup. And that's why she noticed the vehicle. She said it had an unusually loud engine which attracted her attention. Heller returned shortly before 10 a.m. He appeared quite upset. She said he went directly to his room without checking for messages as he usually did. Harrison returned sometime around 11:15 or 11:30 and said Harrison was dropped off in the same pickup truck she left in. Okay. So, these are all from like February 15th, but what about the days afterward? That's what I'm wondering. First, we were working together, or we were before, creating a video game together. Came here from Germany to work with you on this. Why didn't you work with someone who was already in this country? Rolf has an exceptional talent for this kind of game design. We felt like he could do it better and faster than anyone else. We've worked together in the past, known each other for years. We were doing in Oxford. We were considering using... Oh! Maybe this looks fun. We were considering using Roanoke as a setting for our game, among other places, so we wanted to get some photographs and find out. Original report mentioned that there was a pickaxe with reddish-orange stains and a camera. Oh! Okay, so that's starting to make more sense. Harrison, that's her role. She's playing one of the characters in the game. She is with us because we need to get photographs of her in each of the locations we're using for the game. So she's an actress. She is for us. Is that how she makes a living, or are you paying her to be in the game? She agreed to work for a low rate up front in exchange for a piece of the profits when the game comes out. So how does she support herself now? She has a job in Atlanta. What kind of job? Dancer at a club. Oh, she's a stripper. Oh, maybe that's why she was going with that Japanese-made loud engine vehicle. She's branching out to acting in the game. I appreciate your attitude, Detective. Lita's a very nice young lady. Well, the detective's just trying to get some information, you ass. She's had some hard times, but she found a way to support herself when she had very few options. There's nothing wrong with that. I swear, people let their emotions get the best of them way too much. And, I mean, I understand that, you know, we're humans, and it's like, if somebody close to me, a friend, a family member, were, like, you know, killed, I would certainly not be very happy, but I also understand that, you know, not all detectives and police officers are asses. And they just want to get as much information as they can to proceed the investigation. Hooker with a heart of gold. Okay. That was a dick move on the detective's part, like, seriously. From Atlanta. You can become friendly with anyone else that you got here. He just like, oh, I met a few people. He must have talked, Rolf must have talked to one or two of the local actors because people have been coming by and leaving resumes for us with notes saying they'd like to appear in the game if there's a role for them. Wednesday, checked into our motel rooms and walked around the university campus and town, visited local shops, drove to Memphis. That's primarily, we weren't together every moment, of course, but most of the time we were in the same area, if not together. Okay, not sure. Doesn't Lita have her own room? Yes. So how... Oh, yeah, that is interesting. I don't know when Lita returned, but sometime after I was asleep. Doesn't Lita have her own room? How could you know when she came in? I didn't know, but her room is next to ours, and if I had heard her come in, I probably would have spoken to her or phoned her to see that she arrived safely. But since you were asleep, you didn't do that. No, did Rolf? I couldn't say. You might have. How would you characterize your relationship with Harrison? You and I are close. He paused. Is she your girlfriend? Oh, kind of. Is Mr. Warner aware of your relationship with Miss Harrison? I don't know, I didn't tell him about it. Why not? It's a personal relationship. It's private between me and me. There's no reason to tell him. Well, I don't know. I mean, I kind of disagree with that. Like, if you and Warner were working on a game together, and, you know, there was an actress who was supposed to be like a character in the game, I feel like you should at least extend the courtesy of letting me know. It's a personal relationship, private between you and me. There's no reason to tell him. Were you deliberately hiding from him? Yes, in a way. Okay, why not tell him? There's no reason to tell him, and I thought it would be better not to tell him. Rolf can be competitive, and I didn't want to get into a competition with him over it. What? You think he would be jealous? I don't know. Were you jealous of his relationship with Lita? No. Let's talk about today. Did you see Rolf today? Yes, we went to Roanoke together to take some photographs. What time? I would say around 8:30. Were you aware that Roanoke was closed then? Yes, that was the point. We wanted to take some photographs of the exteriors without people. I see. And did you take the photographs? No. Rolf and I had a disagreement. I left before we had an opportunity to take any photographs. What was the disagreement about? It had nothing to do with what happened to him after I left. That's not answering the question. It's like, yeah, it's not answering the question, seriously. Rolf and I disagree often. It was not serious. What did you disagree about this time? It was personal, about Lita. What about it? I saw Rolf and Lita in a passionate moment that morning before we left. I was not pleased about it, and I told him so. I saw him kissing her. Oh, jeez. It made you angry? Yes, it did. I'm not proud of it, but it did. I was not aware he had that kind of relationship. This would have been solved if you just told the guy about the relationship in the first place instead of making it all secrety. She was having a sexual relationship with both of you, but she wasn't telling either one of you about her relationship with the other. It seemed so. You were mad at him about that? Not her. Well, I was upset with both of them. Rightly so. But you didn't argue with both of them. No, Lita was not with us. Did you have a disagreement with her about it later? No, why not? She wasn't at the motel when I returned. When I next saw her, it was when we learned what happened to Rolf, and it didn't seem important then. Because he was out of the picture and you didn't have to worry about him moving in on your girl anymore? Fair. Again, detectives gotta consider a lot of information. No, because his death was much more upsetting than anything else that was troubling me. Even if I wanted to speak to her about it, it was not the appropriate time. You and Mr. Warner argued and you left him at Roanoke? Or Roanoke? Yeah. Say that really fast, it sounds like Roanoke, like, you know, in Virginia. Roanoke. How did the two get to there? We drove, and how did you get back to the motel after the argument? I walked back. Why? Why? Yes, why? What? Wasn't it your car that the two of you took to Roanoke? Jeez, now I'm going to be imagining myself saying Roanoke the entire time. Yes, but Rolf drove away and he had the keys. I didn't want to argue with him about the car because I was too upset about the other issue. I decided to walk back. And leave your car for him? Yes. We found a white Mercury Tracer parked on Old Taylor Road near Roanoke. Jeez. With Georgia license plate number FXI221. Is that your car? Yes. What were you surprised when Rolf didn't come back? No, I assumed he was staying away to let our disagreement fade before he returned. What time did you and Mr. Warner leave the motel to go to Roanoke? Shortly before 8. Can you be more specific? Was it 5 minutes before 8 or 15? I don't remember any more specifically than I said. You said you got to Roanoke about 8:30. Yes. It doesn't take that long to get from Roanoke to Roanoke from here. Did you stop somewhere on the way? Yes, we stopped at the Chevron to get something to eat. They have Krispy Kreme donuts there, and Rolf likes them very much. What time was it when you left Mr. Warner at Roanoke? I don't know. It was long after we arrived. So you got mad at each other pretty fast. Disagreement started in the car before we arrived. What time did you get back to the motel after you left? 9 or 9:15? Don't know exactly. Last time you saw Mr. Warner alive was when you left him there? Yes. He was still alive when you left? Yes, of course. Are you saying you think I killed my best friend? Your best friend who was sleeping with your girlfriend. Fair? Doesn't mean I killed him. Why would I do that? He was my best friend and I didn't even finish the project. I don't know what's going to happen with our game now. I don't know what's going to happen with our game now. Seriously? I mean, he's also worried about, somebody killed his friend, but still. You know of anyone else who might have wanted to kill him? What about Lita? No. Does Lita have any admirers or boyfriends that might resent her relationship with you, Mr. Warner? Not that I know of. Sure about that? Ask Lita if you don't take my word for it. How much longer were you planning on staying in Oxford? Just a few more days. You planning to go down to New Orleans if we had enough money left? No, I'm not sure what Lita and I will do. Probably just go back to Atlanta. I understand you're going to need to stay in Oxford a little longer. Yes, but what do I do when I can't afford to stay here anymore? You let us know if that becomes a concern and we'll reevaluate our situation. I'm sure you want to stay as long as you can to help us find out who murdered your friend. Yes, of course. Running low on money? Is that why this is an issue? No, I don't want to spend all the project's money on motel rooms and meeting in Oxford. I'm going to be able to salvage this game without Rolf. I'm going to need money to hire someone to take over for him. I'm trying to devote all our money right now to get this game off the ground, put together a demo to show investors so we can raise more capital. Where the money you have come from. Rolf and I have both done well the last few years. We invested most of our savings in this project because we really believe we got something good. Was one of you the majority investor? No, we invest equally, 50-50. Are you running out? Well, no, we're not running out, but we need to spend the money to make the game the best it can be. Do you and Mr. Warren have insurance policies, life insurance or business insurance? Anything that might pay out now after the death of one of the partners of the business? No, Rolf wanted to get some kind of business insurance, but I don't want to spend the money on it. I never thought anything like this would happen. We have our condolences. Thank you. Oh, jeez. This is getting a little bit crazy. Oh, here's a bio on the guy. Okay, so never mind, oh, no, never mind. Heller is German. Okay. Okay, so, yeah. So now I understand a little bit more about it. He was an engineer with the Mercedes-Benz Corporation. Huh. And soccer and basketball. Promising in electronics. And he liked computers. 1996. Hey, the year I was born. Heller family immigrated to the United States. Boeing. What was that? I know the name, I just don't remember what kind of company. Oh, Boeing Computers. Makes sense. Okay, so Rolf and him were friends from Germany, but Gus's family immigrated to the United States. Okay, Georgia Tech, engineering and computer science. Staying in Atlanta. Exchanging a lot of ideas online. They finally had a concept, pooled their money, Gus Incorporated, Heller and Warner. Heller Warner in Atlanta? Oh, okay, so a business. Started the process of obtaining a work visa for Rolf. When approval came through, they both quit their jobs and worked on the game full time, and Rolf came to America. In recent months, two men have been scrambling to bring their project to fruition. Financing has been difficult, and they often argue over money, dwindling resources. The men arrived in Oxford with the star of their game, Rita Harrison, to scout Roanoke as a possible location for use in the game. and argued over money. Okay, like, where exactly is that information coming from? Just wondering. Huh. Okay, this one seems to be a little shorter. Maybe. Ish. Okay, so this is the interview with the hooker, or stripper, jeez, the dancer at the club, Lita. Okay, interesting about, where she used to live. Met through Gus, met the Pink Posy in Atlanta where I work. I have an act with ostrich feathers. Gus really liked it. We did ostrich. She's an exotic dancer. She confirmed it. Met Mr. Heller about 2 months ago. Met Mr. Warner the next day at breakfast. And then only ever noticed my looks. He was looking for a model in the game. He and Rolf were doing this mystery game of female superhero, and Gus part of this game. He was working on with Gus. Oh, yes. Oh, she seemed very enthusiastic. What they want you to do, post for pictures, do some video stuff. They were going to work all that in the game somehow, but I don't know how all that stuff works. Then what? Did you continue to work at the Pink Posy? Post for pictures during the day? I don't post for them every day, and they can't pay me enough right now for me to quit my job, but yeah, that's pretty much how it is. I've been doing this since you met Mr. Hell and Mr. Warner sometime in December. Right. Part of the game is that it happens in these sort of famous places, where famous writers are from. Like Roanoke, for example. Yes, so we had to go on the road and take pictures and whatever at all these places. That's how we got here. Take pictures of them. You arrived when? Friday afternoon. Do you know why Ralph was at Roanoke this morning? Take pictures, I guess. You went alone? You didn't go with him? I don't know if he went alone. I didn't go. I needed my view to sleep, and then I had a date for breakfast. Do you know who Ralph might have gone with? I don't know. Maybe Gus? I went out for breakfast. I didn't see either of them. When I got back, Gus was here and he was in a bad mood, so I just stayed away from him. What time was it when you left to breakfast? About 9. What time did you return here to the motel? 10:30? Do you know why Gus was in a bad mood? I don't know. I think he maybe had a fight with Ralph. What makes you think they had a fight? They fought a lot. Nothing too serious ever really, but they still argued a lot. What did they fight about? Probably about Gus spending too much. Oh, Gus spent too much money. Ralph didn't like that. Ralph kind of had a thing about it. I guess they had limited funds. You were being paid for your part in the game though, right? Little pocket money is all, and room and board while we're on the road, of course. It's going to get the big money when the game made it big and we had all the merchandising contracts signed. Oh, they had merchandising contracts signed. Or, no, they didn't. When they would have those contracts signed. Gotcha. How old are you? I'm legal, if that's what you mean. Jeez. 23. Ralph and Gus seem a good deal older than you. I like older. Oh, I like okay. Are you having a sexual relationship with either Ralph or Gus? I'm not sure if that's any of your business. Jeez. Many of the traveling companions have been brutally murdered, and I think just about everything is our business at this point. Are you having a sexual relationship with Ralph? Sometimes. Did Gus know? Well, I didn't tell if that's what you mean. Are you also sleeping with Gus? Okay, so she admits to sleeping with both of them and not telling them about either. Girl has to have insurance policies? I was just making sure I wasn't going to be left out in the cold, you know what I mean? Do you think of anyone else who would have a grudge against Ralph that might do something like this? Kidding? Of course not. Is there anyone who might resent his relationship with you and want revenge on him? No. Like who? Like us? No way. He would never kill Ralph. What about someone else from your past? Someone you met through your job, maybe? No, there's no one. Okay, Miss Harrison, I'm sure we'll be talking to you again. We need you to stay in town for the time being, okay? Well, we can't stay here forever, If you need to leave, be sure to let us know. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, jeez. She is barely a month older than I am. Moira and Daniel Harrison. Interesting. Oh, both her parents doted on her. 15 discovered boys. Okay. Apparently she is kind of pretty, but whatever. And she just wanted to become an exotic dancer. Father suffered a stroke in 2017. He could pay most of the bills for the nursing home he moved into, despite excellent care. He died in 2018. Oh, gotcha. Evidence at the crime scene. Now this is what I'm familiar with, this inventorying system. I did a lot of makeshift crime scene processing for some of my classes back in college, and this is basically something what we did. Okay, so there's a 9mm handgun that was loaded. Huh. There's a Rebel in-room key, a set of car keys. Oh wow. 2 128GB memory cards. Cell phone and passport. Wallet. American Express credit card, MasterCard, VC card. Personal ticket stub, museum pass, haunted history tours business card. Quite a few business cards. Oh, he did have cash on him. $64 worth. Huh. Okay, so I'm pretty sure at this point, this was, like, I think it's almost definitive that this was not a robbery. I mean, this had to have been, this most likely had to have been personal, which is interesting. Yeah, the handgun is, like, throwing me off. I didn't even know the guy. Like, nobody else has mentioned anything about it, which is interesting. A pickaxe, yep, the camera. A hedge clipper was nearby. 4 pairs of work gloves collected from groundskeepers, okay. 12 samples from bloodstains of various sizes. Oh, okay. So there were 6 different bloodstains then. 2 samples were taken from each bloodstain, and there were 12, so there had to have been 6 different bloodstains. Probably to make sure that it belonged to, Warner. Or, Rolf Warner? I don't know. Rolf. The pickaxe is a likely candidate for the weapon used to inflict the fatal injuries. Forensic analyses of the pickaxe are ongoing. I mean, seems the most likely. I mean, based on the, based on the, kind of what the wound looked like. Interesting. I can't believe this video has already been, like, granted, it's mostly just me, like, you know, talking and trying to, you know, figure some stuff out, but I'm probably gonna do the whole investigation day 2 in another video, because this video is already getting quite long, but it's really interesting based on all the accounts that, you know, I've taken a look at and stuff, but here's what I can say for certain. Or at least what I think is the most likely anyways, is that, like I was just saying moments ago, is that he still had quite a few credit cards in there and cash in there, and he still had a lot on him, so it wasn't a robbery of any kind, and I don't think it was random. Like, random would also mean it could be a robbery. Like, this had to have been personal. Like, somebody wanted revenge on this guy for whatever reason. Again, I don't know why, but it had to have been personal. And, I mean, of course, you know, the groundskeepers and all, and the people who worked at the office and stuff, and Roanoke. Seriously, I'm gonna think I'm saying Roanoke all the time now, instead of Roanoke. Was that on purpose? Or did they actually use a real location for this fictional investigation? Whatever. But they all seemed to complement one another. They or not really complement one another. They seem to be all stories seem to be in line with one another. There was that really mild time discrepancy with the initial, like, groundskeeper, Moreland, or whatever his name was. That's the only thing that kind of struck me as odd. But something that has been bothering me is that, like, why did this guy have a gun on him? That's what I'm wondering. I don't understand. I mean, there is a theory going on in my head that, I don't know, maybe he, like, because, I mean, that could be caused by a pickaxe, and there were reddish-brown stains on the pickaxe, but I don't know anything about the gun. Like, it said it was loaded. Does that mean, like, you know, it was full of bullets, or was there maybe one missing? Maybe my question redded himself? No, the gun was loaded. But I mean, it could be like a self-inflicted bullet. No, I don't think it would have been, because people would have heard that. Like, pretty much everyone would have heard that, and assuming that this, you know, the groundskeepers, this is kind of what happened, or that what they say happened, then yeah, like, they would have all had to have worked together to make the story up, which I see as a little bit unlikely, especially with the specifics of all their stories and the fact that there were multiple stories that they had to kind of get in line. But yeah, the gun is throwing me off. Like, it's kind of interesting that after all this information I've looked through so far, nobody has talked about it at all. So, no, it's definitely very interesting. And again, like, I assuming that they're telling the truth, I don't think the groundskeepers really have anything to do with it, which kind of makes sense after reading the testimony of Heller and Lita, is that none of these groundskeepers knew who the guy was, which makes sense. Like, they were just taking pictures of the place where there weren't supposed to be a lot of people around, or when it wasn't open or something like that, so it makes sense that they wouldn't really know who he was. But yeah, this is a little interesting. I would have liked to see, is there an autopsy report? I hope so. Okay, early autopsy findings, but again, yeah, okay, so it looks like they're looking at the background information for the for the groundskeepers that were there, and then they have a few follow-up things and early autopsy findings, fingerprints. So I might look at that in another video, but this one has already gotten plenty long as it is. I'm gonna really have to cut down on some stuff. Actually, I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to cut down on, because I think that every bit of it is important in its own way, whether it's all building up to, you know, an individual being innocent, or whether it could, like, this, like, even small bits of information could be important to stuff that I haven't looked at yet. So I will probably leave it at that. I will probably do the investigation day 2 and 3 stuff in another video, but this has definitely been interesting to look at. I can see why my friend recommended this to me. I'm very curious and I'm very interested, so I will go ahead and leave it at that. So thank you everybody for watching. If you made it this far, color me shocked. But I guess, as usual, until the next video, guys, check you laters.